Happy Sunday, everyone.
Happy Sunday.
Do you know who this is? This is Natalie.
Oh, we're live.
We are so live right now. It's there's no going back.
There's no going back.
Once you go live, you can't go back.
All right, cheers.
Cheers
to Sunday.
Cheers.
Hello.
Sunday fun day. Here it is. Sunday fun day. Cheers to everyone. Before we talk to our guest, Natalie, we want to give you guys a few updates about what we've been up to. And I'm glad to see Julie has joined. Thank you for joining.
Oh, Julie, you're
I'm
watching.
here.
Oh,
Yay.
great.
Now we can get started.
Give us some feedback while you're at it.
It's me and one other person right now. It's not just me.
Fantastic. So we want to give you guys a couple updates on the end of season 6, and we're about to start season 7 in a few weeks. We have been actually recording for that already, so it's been really exciting. But first of all, season 6. Let's talk about the wrap up of season 6. One of the most standout episodes. I don't know if you listened to this one, Natalie. We went to a sex party. Mm-hmm.
That's really
it was an experience.
We recorded the entire experience with an audio recorder, of course. There was no video involved. Although it was a good thing that it was just audio only. So it was Julie and I and a friend of ours that we took, and none of us had ever been to a sex party before. I myself have been to a sex club, so I sort of knew what to expect in some ways, but innocent Julie had never seen anything like it.
First time for everything.
First time for everything.
So exciting for you.
It was nerve-wracking. So there was a pre-party. It was all in Oakland. There was a pre-party, and the pre-party was at this like dive bar with all these like lumberjack-looking men. And then in the back was like reserved for the sex party, and everyone looked completely different because everyone was like dressed up and like makeup and like suits and
there
tuxedos.
were a lot of innocent people though that had no idea that's why
No
we were
idea.
all gathering. Just
Yeah,
our
okay,
patrons. And we had a very awkward exchange with one guy. And we're like, oh yeah, you're going to the party. And he's like, yeah,
What
the party.
party?
And it was like, we're not on the same page. It was a memorable night, and I definitely think everyone should listen, and you can hear the play-by-play of everything that goes down at a sex party.
Yeah.
So thank you to Organ House, our partner in doing this, who throws these amazing parties, and more important than just the party, does this community of people that are kind of like-minded and really wants to bring sex positivity like front and center, which is a good segue to having Natalie with body positivity.
Yes, absolutely. So after this episode aired, my friend in LA was really inspired. So she took her boyfriend to a sex club.
This.
I told you about this. She took her boyfriend to a sex club, and they were just like exploring what they could get themselves into.
Yeah.
And they ended up having sex at the sex club, but not with other people. And she said one of the great things about being there was that you just didn't care about what your body looked like.
That's cool.
Everyone was just naked, and there were all sorts of body types. So she felt liberated
It's
by
kind
the
of like the
experience.
bathhouses. I don't know if you've been to any of those, like in Kabuki
But
bathhouse.
it's like co-ed, isn't it?
No, they have different nights, days. Well, some are co-ed, like the one in blanking on the name of it.
Wait,
the
but the
Russian one.
Kabuki bathhouse is like actually a spa where you don't have sex with the people.
No.
Yeah, there's no sex to be had there.
I was like,
just
wait a
thank
second.
you for clarifying for anyone that is mistaken. I was more speaking to the general notion of just everyone being
Just
out,
being naked.
Everybody's bodies, like differences, and noticing it. Yes, no sex.
Yes,
Well, I think
that is
actually
very-
historically they were known for that, but that's back in the
interesting.
day.
No, I think it is really refreshing to like see other naked bodies that look different from what we
Yeah.
see in
Oh,
magazines.
yeah,
Like, so
totally.
refreshing.
Because you're like, okay, other people are like this. Yes.
But what was really fun about the night was we start at this dive bar, we go to a sex party, and then we go to Harper and Rye, which is like a meat market for 25-year-olds. But it was so different because at the sex party, because everyone was naked, there were like no qualms. Like it felt very open and comfortable in some ways. Like
Were you guys naked?
we weren't naked, but I almost felt out of
Is this why you
place.
didn't put it on video?
I feel
Spoiler alert.
I honestly felt a little awkward towards the end for not being naked because most people
Yeah,
were.
but they were very accepting that it did not matter. It was whatever you were comfortable. And they actually said first timers, it was pretty normal that like you would actually be more of an observer.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't just dive right in there. And it kind of took like getting used to the scene and meeting people and getting comfortable.
But it felt like there was no, at the sex party, it was very much like my intention here is to play with other people. So if someone comes up to you, you're like, oh, that's already your intention. Right. But at Harper and Rye, a guy would make eye contact and you're like, what do you want? You're just like suspicious of what they want because they're not at a sex party when the intentions are probably the same. Right? So it was just like a very interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah. And we also had, just like to kind of recap season 6, we also had a really great season finale. So anyone that has not caught it yet, we had, this will also be in your wheelhouse about being positive, but we had Amy Spencer, who's the author of Meeting Your Half Orange, but also like a slew of just positivity books and like Twitter handle and like all the stuff. She's like
Amy
the positivity
Spencer.
person.
Ooh,
She's
incredible.
I actually read her book probably like a good 2 years ago.
Oh wow, okay.
Or at least a year ago. Maybe it was not 2 years. But anyways, I was like, Yue, we have to get her on the show because she's like, just, it was like one of those books, because there's a lot of bad dating advice books out there. But her, yes. But any woman can agree with that, usually. I'm sure there's bad dating advice for men too. Shouldn't say that.
Is this her?
Yes.
No,
that's not her.
Not
Amy
her.
Spencer.
Not her. I'm trying to find
another
her.
Amy Spencer. But anyways, I remember
Amy Spencer, I'll follow you somehow.
Amy Spencer LA, or The Optimist, the dating optimist.
Okay.
Yes, I believe that's her handle, but we'll find it. But anyways, like, I remember reading this book and just being like, oh my God, I'm so like relating hard to this because it isn't like gimmicky, like do this to get the guy and trap him and all this shit. So it's like basically, it's like basically like if you feel positive, if you feel good about yourself, if you're doing stuff you love, like that energy will shift. So,
but I think it's also very similar to Natalie's theory about positivity, where what I like about you and Amy is that you guys are real. It's not like, oh, you guys, there's someone out there for you. Embrace your body the way it is because you're just so perfect. It's not like that. It's like sometimes you got to accept your own faults and you got to know that what you're doing is wrong. And sometimes it's not about what you're looking for, but it's about what you're putting out there. And she really touches upon this in her book and in her episode. She's like, what you're putting out in the universe sometimes is, I don't want this anymore. I don't want this type of guy. I don't want this type of girl anymore. She's like, but instead of saying, what do I don't want, put out to the universe what you do want.
What you do want, totally.
Yeah.
And that's a different way of approaching dating as opposed to, everything's perfect, everything's great, there's a lid for every pot. Well, you also have to put out the right mindset and the right vibe for that.
yeah, I mean, I found that episode very inspiring, so hopefully others do too. We'd love to hear from you if you did, or if you have other feedback, then yeah, write in or comment.
Cool.
Season 6 is when we started getting into outside of San Francisco. So we explored. We actually had a lot of Aussies on for some reason. We went down under. We went really far. It was all just by chance. I don't even know. And lately, I've been like making more Australian friends. So maybe there's more of them now.
But we had a girl that
Maybe
we
you're
were
putting like that
the Aussie
Australian
vibe.
It's out into the universe. You're putting it out there.
I want
and
it
it's
down under.
being brought back to
coming.
you.
But we had someone from Ontario today that we spoke with, so I love it, especially sometimes we're in a bubble that we're like, only this stuff is happening here, but it's really interesting and good to hear, I guess good and bad to hear that it's happening everywhere, but at least it's relatable, and it's kind of like, this is just where we are right now, so we need to embrace it.
And it further proves the point that we always think we're experiencing things by ourselves. And it's not the truth. It's sometimes you think, oh, I'm the only one going through this.
Yeah.
You're not, because
You never are.
if it's
Never.
happening to you, it's happening to thousands and millions of other people. So it's nice to know that we're all in this together.
So yeah, I think we turn it over to Natalie.
Should we talk about, we also had, we set someone up on a date for season 7.
We'll do a couple more.
Yeah, we'll do a little teaser
spoilers,
for you.
yeah.
We set someone up on a date with two different guys. So it's almost like our own version of The Bachelorette.
That's really fun.
It was really fun. She had seen both of their photos. One of the guys had seen her photo beforehand. The other one had no idea who she was. It was completely blind for her. And just from photos alone, she was more, she had a favorite of the two photos. But you guys need to listen to the episode and see what happens in the end. Because a lot of the notions we have on a date, you go in with these like expectations or you think this person's going to be a certain way. Well, this episode just proves that anything could happen on dates. And you never know who that person really is.
Yeah, people have told us how much they love these like he said, she said perspective ones. So we definitely want to keep bringing these back more. And we want, like, if you are down to do this, if you are male or female, like, hit us up because we will just, like, keep you as, like a running list of who's interested. So then when we find a good match, we can kind of, like, pair it off.
And here's some of the questions we asked for both of the dates and her as well. One was, how would you rate this date from a scale of 1 to 10? So that would be good to know. And 2 is, what are some red flags that you found on the date?
And that's also such that's the feedback that you kind of wish you had. And that you'll never get from somebody who you end up not talking to again. So what an opportunity. God, I wish I had that a few years ago.
Right? It's amazing.
It's super awkward. It is a little bit awkward. But at the same time, dating should be a learning experience. So we learn from everything else in life. We should also learn from each other.
And you can be anonymous, so no one will actually know who you were. So.
Well, yeah. True. Very true.
That's the beauty of the podcast.
Yes, and you can be totally anonymous.
But if you can be naked at a sex party, but nobody knows.
Nobody knows. We interviewed a dick at the sex party, an actual penis. I had a sit down interview with a penis, so it's nice to know what a penis thinks. It's a very beautiful penis.
He made a comment that his lawyers would not let him continue this.
I could have told you what they think before that interview, but
I'm hungry. No, just kidding. But it was a very beautiful penis. That's the other thing that Julie and I noticed at the sex party. Oh my God, the penises are beautiful. It made me really appreciate the male body more. See?
Things you learn.
And speaking of appreciating bodies.
Was that your setup segue?
Brilliant.
That was pretty brilliant.
Well, Natalie is one of our most popular previous guests. She talked about body positivity and how that applies to dating, but also just your own personal life. She wrote a book, and I think now it's a good time to do a catch-up session.
Yeah, because it was season 5 that we had you on.
It's a while ago.
Episode 2, so early.
Season 5, episode 2, Every Body Beautiful, which is also the name of her book. If you haven't read it yet, you really should. It's a quick read too, so it's not
just to give a quick summary of the episode, because a lot of the questions that we got were kind of related. But basically, Natalie tells us about her decades-long battle with body image. We discuss overcoming the struggles for both women and men, learning to appreciate your body and how this impacts dating. So it was an awesome chat. That was one of my favorite episodes.
That was fun.
One of my favorites from that episode was Natalie gave us her own personal story of her own struggles. And we've all had struggles with overcoming, insecurities with our bodies. But she said, she used to have these insecurities about wearing midriffs. And then after crop tops. And then she just fully embraced wearing crop tops. And it's just been a very liberating experience for her. And I think sometimes it's just if you just get over what you think everybody else is thinking, because I was reading this book by some psychologist, and she was saying, everything for a human being is self-referential. So it starts from our childhood, where if you see people in the corner talking, you think they're automatically talking about you, when that's not, in fact, the case.
Usually they're not.
Usually they don't give a shit about you. But she was saying, it's just natural for us to put ourselves out there and just think everyone's judging us when nobody really cares. So once you just get over that hump, nobody really cares that you're wearing a crop top. They probably appreciate the fact that you are wearing a crop top.
And I think my favorite line, I'm probably butchering this, but you said a comment that was the moment that I stopped caring what everyone thought about my body was when I met the love of my life.
Yes. We're still together.
Yay, and they're living together. You guys are living together.
We moved in together.
You moved in together with your cat.
With my cat.
And Natalie gave us an update too on Instagram for everyone following as well.
Oh yeah, what was your update on Instagram so people have a little refresher?
What was my update on Instagram?
Oh, I think it was basically what we just said.
Oh, like my cat?
about celebrating our anniversary and that stuff.
Yeah, we celebrated our anniversary with the cat. So at our 2-year anniversary, we went wine tasting, and we took the cat with us to like pet-friendly wineries. So my cat is very patient, very tolerant. We put him on a little leash with his harness.
Oh my gosh.
And so we have like a ton of pictures of him just like chilling next to wine bottles and making friends with other wine tasters. And like, he was just the star of Napa that weekend. Yeah.
Amazing.
He's very, very patient and
What's
tolerant.
your cat's name again?
Manolo.
What a bougie cat.
You can tell that I got him right after the Sex and the City.
I was going to say, what's the Sex and the City?
Yeah, so anyways, we got some questions that came in for Natalie, so we thought it'd be a good opportunity to use Facebook Live because I think it's always fun to see who these guests actually are, and there's like a different dynamic of live that you don't get on a podcast. So let's start with the first one.
Yeah.
So this came from Sarah. Hi, Natalie. I loved everything you said and want to get on board with...
We're back.
We're back.
Sorry about that.
That's the beauty of live.
Technology live.
I'm going to share this again.
Okay.
How sad. But we're back. I know everyone was dying to know this burning question.
I know these burning questions. We pull
riveting.
them up, we're asking him, and then you don't get to know the answer.
Okay,
Posting?
there we go. We're posting.
Okay, back
We're
to
asking
the question.
All right, hold on to your rosé. It's
Okay,
gonna be fine.
from Sarah. Hi, Natalie. I loved everything you said and want to get on board with body positivity and not letting that impact my dating life. But I can't seem to get past the fact that the more attractive / skinnier women have more options because they attract more men. What are your thoughts on this? Do more options equate to finding the one?
Oof, that's
I
many
feel
questions.
like this is a question that's been asked, I mean, since like kids start dating. Like, oh, the prettier ones, the more handsome ones, they're getting more attention. I think though that no matter who you are and how you look and how many dates you get asked on, you probably still feel like you don't get enough options.
Yeah.
Or if you're having a lot of options, it's people who are coming up to you for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Like, I would say that no matter your level of how attractive you are, you probably don't want to date people who only want to date you for your looks. I think we all want to find somebody who wants to connect with us, who wants to understand who we are, like really know what's inside of our heart, and you don't get that just by going after hot people over and over and over again.
Yep.
Like, you get that by getting to know people. So I think that people who get asked on a lot of dates probably feel like they also don't have a lot of options. I think no matter who you are, you probably don't feel like you have enough options.
Yes.
I don't think that this is a problem that's unique to somebody who doesn't feel attractive. I would say...
Okay.
Are we back?
Third time is a charm. I swear people will hear these burning questions one day. Oh my God.
So just to sum up, I don't think that like thin, attractive people are getting more dating options than anyone else out there, or they're getting more options, but maybe not quality options. You want to date somebody for who they are inside, not what they look like, and people want to have people interested in them for who they are, not just what they look like, because those are relationships that don't really go a long way.
I think you brought up a good point. It kind of goes to your point earlier, is that everyone thinks that only this is happening to themselves.
Yeah.
And I think like we've talked to people and they're like, oh, well, like it must be so easy for you guys to date. And then you're like, well, like,
what makes you think that?
Right, like everyone has issues, right? So it's like you just assume other people have it easy when that really might not be the case at all.
Yeah, so when you guys were talking about a sex party, it brought up a memory of mine when my best friend and I wrote a sex column for the UCLA newspaper.
Oh my God.
And we got invited to a sex party. And while we were, anyways, so I've been to one too. They are like interesting. But yeah, like we were writing this sex column and people would always be like, oh, you must get so many dates. And we were like, no one will ask us out. Like, just because we talk about sex all the time, no one wants to ask us out. And so you think this problem is happening to you. It's happening to everybody.
Everyone.
Like, you just don't know.
It's not about appealing to the masses. Yes, there is a certain look that probably appeals to many people, and they probably there are some people who probably have a lot of options, but like you were saying, it doesn't mean that those options are a good match for them. And at the end of the day, we're just trying to find one or two in some cases.
Right.
Or 5, whatever. But you don't need 70 matches. You just need like one good one for a while.
Yeah.
And that's what you should be focused on.
And you get that one good one by continuing to be who you are.
Yeah.
And I think maybe if you're focused so much on number, that could mean that you are more in a stage that you're focused on like this feeling popular opposed to actually wanting
vanity
someone.
swipes.
So again, I don't know where Sarah is, so I don't want to make any assumptions, but that might be just something to think about with yourself when you start to like compare yourself to everyone else. Like, where am I? Do I care that, like what am I trying to actually do?
And the guy that's gonna like you for who you are, he's going to find the generic pretty girls generic. Like, oh, I don't need to entertain these girls. I know they're attractive, but I'm looking for something very specific and unique. And that's where everyone has their own advantage, is to be unique in your own way.
Right. Okay, the next question from Saul. I'm 25, 5'7", and a full-time mechanical engineer, and I'm going to school part-time to get my master's. Overall, I'm a well-rounded catch. However, I've been having so much trouble finding love, or a date for that matter. I've even gone so far to make an amazing connection with a girl over the phone prior to meeting just to be rejected because they found out I'm 5'7", even though it's explicitly listed on my profile. Any advice?
Oh, Saul. Hi, Saul. That's lame. I'm sorry that happened. But there are a lot of short people out there. I'm a short person. I would say I'm wondering about like the context in which this woman that you were talking to found out that you were 5'7". If it's said on your profile, that's great. That's a thing. That's like something that a lot of men feel like they need to do. A lot of women feel like they need to know before they go out. That's totally fine. I'm wondering, like, did you bring it up in the phone conversation again and say, like, oh, I'm 5'7", is that okay? Because you maybe not owning the fact, like, that's the thing about you, and maybe you not owning it would actually turn me off as a potential dater, as opposed to the fact that you were 5'7". So, you know, I know you're 5'7", I looked at your profile, but if you're like, oh, also, I'm just going to remind you of this thing that, like, I'm self-conscious about, is that okay? Like, that's where I might get turned off. I would say confidence is so key.
Yeah,
true.
Confidence is so key. Like, so I am short. I've dated a lot of short guys. My boyfriend is short. And you know how we solved this in our relationship? We bought a stepladder. It's going to be fine, Saul. It's going to be fine. You're going to find a woman and you can buy a stepladder with her and it's going to be great.
$10.99. It's okay. But
Here's the link on Amazon.
I love that point of view because it's like the same thing with like women feeling fat, right? If you're with a guy and you're like, I feel fat, like, do I look fat? Like, that's going to be more of the turnoff than who you actually are.
Yeah. I actually read a dating profile today where the guy listed his pros and cons. And his cons were, I'm short, I'm 5'6". And it like caught my eye because it's not a con. It's not like you chose to be 5'6".
Right?
Yeah, it's part of who you are. Why listed as an insecurity of yours? But like you're saying, Natalie, you should just embrace it. I actually used to tell guys not to put their height on their profiles. Now I'm like, put it on your profiles, no matter how tall you are, because at least you're vetting out the people who are only looking for a certain height, right?
And I will say, don't lie about it.
Don't lie.
Definitely don't lie.
The worst,
we're gonna figure it out.
As soon as you show up, it's very apparent.
We already have a rule of -2 inches. We already have that rule.
Right.
So just be honest.
Right.
Please.
Yeah, and you know, like, they're gonna figure it out, and the women that are interested in you, they're not gonna worry about your height so much as long as you are confident in who you are. And it sounds like you have so many things going for you. You said yourself, you sound like you're a great catch. Like, if you think that, then just own that. Like, you are a great catch. Be a great catch. Like, it doesn't matter what your height is.
If you lie, it's almost saying, like, I don't think that, like, I could tell you the truth because you wouldn't be into
We don't think that Saul was lying. I think he's
saying that, not Saul, but, like, hypothetically, because there are a lot of men, I've been on those dates where I show up and they are a good, like, 5 inches shorter than they said. And it's like, you're not fooling anyone at that point. Right. It just looks like you're insecure.
Yeah. And it goes back to the point of, you know, some people will say, I get these questions a lot when I was doing coaching. Guys will say, you know, I'm like educated and I work at this great job. I have a great family. I have great friends, but there's something that's stopping me from meeting the right women, and and I think it's my height. Or this one guy said, I think it's this mole on my face, or like I have 1 foot bigger than the other. And it's never the physical qualities that are holding you back. It's how you feel about your physical qualities.
Absolutely.
It's mentally holding you back.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm shorter than Saul, and like I would never consider my height as something to hold me back. I know that it's different for men and women, but I'm just saying, like, you only think that that's holding you back because you have heard that message, or you've chosen to believe that message. Yeah. Like, if you choose to disregard that message and just be like, I'm 5'7", and that's me, and I'm cool with that, then everyone else will be too.
Well, that's what I love about this, like, body positivity movement, because I feel like society has always said, like, men need to be tall and women need to be thin.
Yeah.
And it's like, those are the 2 ones every time. So it's like the equivalent of women having extra weight for men being short. And it's not, like, this body positivity at least is, like, being, like, accepting of everyone.
Right. We are all deserving of respect and dignity and love.
Yes.
Like, whoever set that up in the first place? Like, oh, God.
Well, that's one thing I learned from a sex party was that there were all different body types, all mixing and mingling together. There were big women with very small men, and it worked. And that's one thing I really liked about being there was there were no qualms, no stereotypes. It was just like everyone's playing with each other, and it didn't matter what you look like. And I would also say Julie and I both know some really amazing women who ended up marrying shorter men, sometimes shorter than them. And both of these instances, the women told me that they were attracted to the men that they're with because of their quiet confidence. Those were the exact words used every single time. It's there's something about him, that's quiet confidence, that's so sexy and attractive. And that's what we should all be working towards.
Yes. Right. Okay, the next question from Mark. I usually date slender women, but I recently started dating a girl that is average to above average weight-wise. I'm totally smitten by her and think she is the most beautiful girl I've ever met, but I'm nervous to introduce her to my friends in case they don't think the same. Ooh. Also, the sex is the best I've ever had. Thank you for adding that in, Mark.
Congratulations.
Any suggestions?
Oh, get rid of your friends.
I high-five you with my rosé for the best sex you ever had. No, so here's the thing. I think there's two ways to answer this question. The first part is, let's talk about your friends for a second. So we tend to be like really protective of our friends. When our friends bring in a new significant other, we're like kind of judging them, and like especially I feel like when we're a little bit younger, that's what we tend to do. We tend to be like, this person isn't good enough for my friend, and like they're not perfect, and we forget that it's not about whether we think they're perfect. It's really about if your friend is dating somebody, does that person make your friend happy? Are they a quality person? Do they have like good values? Are they able to get along with other people in a social, like, are they kind to their significant other's friends? Like, those are things that are more important. Is your friend happy with this person?
Right.
You don't have to date them.
No.
Your friend has to. So if you're bringing this new woman into a situation with your friends and your friends are unkind to her, I would question, like, what is the quality of your friends? Or maybe approach that subject with them, like, hey, is there actually something wrong with her? You guys, because you don't have to date her. You just have to get along with her. That's something like you learn, like, as you go along in relationships, is like, you don't have to get along with your significant other's friends. You just have to be kind to them and have them be respectful to you. Like, you don't have to date your significant other's friends. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I'm more concerned with this gentleman noticing the weight of this woman and what's behind that. Like, you've typically dated thinner women, and now you're dating a woman who is average to above average, and I'm wondering, like, what is that stirring up for him?
Right. I agree, because I feel like in this question, maybe his friends would act that way, but maybe they won't. It almost sounds like it's
projecting.
Exactly. It's more like, I'm concerned, and I feel like this isn't someone that's at my level, and there's some, like, insecurity or doubt with him, not even his friends.
Right. And yet, like, if you're having the best sex of your life with this woman, it sounds like in an intimate setting, you're very comfortable with her. You guys are very comfortable with each other. And so, like, why can you be comfortable with this person when you're naked and yet not outside? So I would really delve into, like, what is important about her weight to you. Like, I would delve into your your own issues.
Right. And is this because just society has said this message,
right.
or is it because something that really is something to you? Maybe like digging a little deeper of where this is coming from.
Sure.
I've been around these bro conversations at bars where they speak so negatively about women's bodies. Like they'll just judge women as they walk by and freely call someone fat. But when these men disperse and go home, none of them would speak that way. It's like groupthink with men. So I think next time you're in this group with your friends, and if someone talks that way, which I'm assuming that this is where this is coming from, you should call them out. You should just say like, hey, I don't think that's right to say that.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
maybe say it like that.
I mean, not that you have to defend your girlfriend at all for her weight, but maybe it's even like leading with like, hey, this is someone really important to me that I want you to meet, not leading with her weight.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, I would say like tell your friends this is somebody that's really important to you, that it's important that you guys get along and get to know her.
Right.
If her weight does come up, I would say, yeah, it's your time to shine and defend her to your friends and say like she's not a number on a scale. And, like, can't you guys see how many other, like, wonderful qualities she has, how great she is as a partner to me? Like, that shouldn't matter to your friends if they truly care about your happiness. Like, it shouldn't matter.
Totally.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's a good test of friendship.
Yeah. But also delve into, like, are you asking this because you're worried about what your friends think? Or are you worried about what you think? Delve into that a little bit.
Totally. Okay, from Melissa. Hey, Natalie, could you go in more depth of some of the techniques you use to get confident? What are some of the positive self-talk you use?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Teach us.
Yeah, this was the topic I was most excited to talk about. I was like, oh, let me get situated here. I was like driving over here and I was like, oh, I'm so excited to talk about this confidence thing. Okay, so let's see. The first thing is, excuse me, rosé.
It smelled lovely.
Drink some rosé. That's your first step. Second step. So whenever I want to get better at something, I really like dive into that topic. I read books on it. I fill my social media with that topic. I ask questions about it. I like put out into the universe that I want to be better at something or I want to learn more about something. So if you want to be more confident, I would say really like dive into that and really just like be committed to being more confident. And how you do that is surround yourself with people who want you to be confident, who are confident themselves, who want to build you up, who want success and good things for the people around them. It's really easy to find people who will tear you down, who want to wallow in their own bullshit, who, find the negative in everything. Find the people who are rare and special, who want to build you up and spend more time with them.
I love that. Or maybe even ask them, like, what are some qualities about me that, like, you see to get some outside perspective?
Totally. Like, and that's another thing I was going to bring up. Like, ask your friends to give you a boost. Like, if you're feeling a little imposter syndrome or if you feel like you need a boost, that's what friends are there for. They're there to, like, help you pull yourself up by your bootstraps and be like, remember how amazing you are? You don't? Let me tell you. Let me tell you how amazing you are. Just back to, like, surrounding yourself with confidence, I would say fill your Instagram, your Tumblr feeds, your Facebook feed with confidence, with people who exude confidence, with positivity, with people who want good things for you. Get rid of all of those accounts that you follow that make you feel bad about yourself. Fill your playlists with songs from people that empower you, that are empowered themselves. If you hear a song and it's making you feel bad about yourself or it's a downer, get rid of it. You can always add it back in later, but like just fill your world with this
it's
confidence.
Like little things that you don't like think that much about, but they do play into you every day.
Right. Yes.
Like every time you go on Facebook, it has some effects. You might as well use it to your advantage to get a good effect.
Absolutely. Yes.
Or follow Natalie's account.
Yeah, and
I'm
only
gonna throw
Natalie.
in a shameless plug for Natalie because I feel inspired every
Me
time
too.
I look at your
And
body.
she's like, you're like just a ray of sunshine.
You
Each
are.
time
It's like
you
all
pop up on
yellow.
Instagram.
I've noticed that you have a
Yellow
theme,
theme, yeah.
which is like, it just makes you, even just seeing yellow makes you feel good.
Yes, shout out to my friend Zoe Munson for being my graphic designer and being like, yellow is your new color.
Oh my God,
and I
it's
was like,
so
oh,
yellow.
yellow.
And you're wearing yellow.
I'm wearing yellow. Let's see, other things to boost your confidence. You can talk to yourself in the mirror. That's definitely one way to do it. Always find something to compliment yourself on in front of the mirror. But also, Another thing that I found to be even more helpful than that is meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So meditation is one of those things that like hundreds of people have told me over the years, you should meditate. It's the best thing ever. And I was like, meditation's boring. I'm not good at it. And then I finally started doing it. I'm really into this author named Jen Sincero right now. She wrote You Are a Badass. And she's a really big fan of meditation. And so I worked that in 5 minutes of
that's it.
5 minutes of just like repeating mantras to yourself of like I'm worthy, I'm valuable, whatever it is that you feel like your brain needs to hear, sit down for 5 minutes and repeat that to yourself.
I love this idea of finding people that are talking about this topic as well, and like fulfilling yourself with different inputs. Because I'm a reader as well. Like I go through tons and tons of books and love this concept.
Yes, Jen Sincero, she's fantastic. Yeah, and like there's also podcasts out there and all kinds of apps that you can use that you can just like listen to people be positive. I think the main thing about gaining confidence is really like surrounding yourself with a world that like wants that for you, that reminds you that you have that ability to be confident in yourself, because it's hard to grow confidence.
And that, to relate it back actually to our season finale with Amy Spencer, like her point was like, okay, like stop, if you're finding dating a drag, stop like dating. If you don't want to go to like another singles event, stop going to that. Like do stuff that you love doing, because that's when like naturally your confidence will come out, and that's when you'll attract someone. If you're just like pouting in the corner and like being like, all these girls are skinny and I'm not, like that's not going to have any effect.
Absolutely. That was actually one more thing I was talking to myself about in the podcast, was like the best tool to like really grow your confidence is to be 100% yourself. That's very hard to do. Do your best every day, but really be yourself. Start to examine like, do the actions that I take, do the clothes that I wear, do the people that I surround myself with, do these all feel authentic to what makes me a better, happier person? And if the answer is no, maybe it's time to move on. But yeah, like wear clothes that you're comfortable in.
Yeah.
Wear shoes you're comfortable in. Right. Like be in situations that make you comfortable. And just be yourself. Like you're going to be so much happier and more confident when you feel truly yourself.
So I feel like lately I've been on like a bit of a health kick, like very conscious of like the food I'm eating and like making sure that it's like not processed and all like more veggie based and like
We're still here.
Oh my god.
We're still here.
What a day.
What a day. Technology at its finest. Anyways, what I was saying is I feel like I've been making these improvements just to overall well-being. And yeah, like I have lost some weight, but it wasn't like, oh my god, I need to be on this strict diet. But like, I think just like from feeling better with what you put into your body, like you feel better. And then that like radiates me more confidence. Like I felt like I've got more attention just from walking around than I was because I feel better about myself.
Yeah.
So it's all like, it's not necessarily the numbers on the scale moving, but it's like the internal dialogue.
And I find that putting rosé and wine into my body is how I exude confidence and how I am my best self.
Exhibit A.
Like to each their own.
Don't worry. I also find confidence in that.
Sometimes I find a little too much confidence with a little rosé.
Drink responsibly.
I also think confidence comes from giving as well. So instead of just focusing on how I can be more confident in myself, sometimes I find celebrating the people around you helps you gain that confidence too.
Yes.
If your friends are celebrating something, you know, put that up on your Facebook and celebrate them with them, because the more you're willing to hold someone else up, the more they're willing to do that for you. It's reciprocal, right?
Yep.
Great point.
Awesome. Okay, last question from Rachel. My boyfriend recently gained some weight and I'm thinking about ending our relationship. My friend told me that this was superficial, but I'm just not attracted to him now. Do you think I'm out of line?
Ooh.
I think this is a question about body stuff that is actually not about body stuff at all. I think that this question makes me think, what's going on in this relationship? What's going on with her name, Rachel? What's going on with Rachel? What does her boyfriend being in better shape represent to her? What does it mean for their relationship? Like, did they start their relationship out working out together a lot, being super healthy, and then maybe her boyfriend has gotten away from that. Is it because he's going through something else that maybe you need to approach?
Right.
Is he struggling with something in his personal life? Or like, why is your boyfriend looking a certain way? Why is that so important to you?
Right.
Like, are you worried about what other people think? Like, what does that represent to you? So yeah, I think this is much more like about what's going on in the relationship than about your boyfriend's weight.
Yeah, I would personally probably ask the question to your boyfriend, like, what's going on with you? Because I know from my own personal, and again, not everyone's the same, but like times that I've gained weight is because I was upset and depressed and there was something larger
there's something
going
emotional
on.
going on.
Exactly. Very rarely sometimes it can just be from like going out and drinking and eating too much, but a lot of times it does stem from deeper. So maybe it's asking those questions, and then I think kind of to your point too, it's like if that's all you're focused on, then like how deep was your connection?
Right.
Like a few pounds shouldn't be like a deal breaker.
Right.
I'm just thinking of my relationship with my girlfriends, and like my girlfriend's weight and my weight like has fluctuated over the years, and I don't want to be friends with them any less no matter what their weight is. So I'm thinking of if your boyfriend's weight fluctuating says to you don't want to be with him anymore, did you ever really like who he was as a person
to begin with?
Yeah, or were you just really attracted to what he looked like physically? So you maybe you just don't actually like who he is as a person. Maybe you guys aren't compatible, and I would sort of delve into that.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously you need to be attracted physically, but if you've been with someone for a bit, usually you're already like physically attracted to them. Like, it's probably something deeper than just the weight gain.
Yeah, because I would say, like, if he's lost some confidence or if he's going through something, that might actually be the thing that you're kind of losing attraction to him on. And that's fixable. You know, that's about communication and having compassion for your partner and finding out what's going on in their life.
Yeah.
Right, instead of just cutting them out because
you
gain some
I feel like that's a conversation you should be having with your boyfriend as opposed to trying to ask advice about, because a lot of this could also stem from like medical issues. You know, people go through medical issues and they gain weight. Isn't that more of a concern than his weight gain? You know, if he's actually experiencing something physically wrong, that could be a problem.
Just, a lot of questions.
Yeah, Rachel, you need to talk to your boyfriend and reevaluate why you're with him.
Yeah. And also, it's like, if you really just don't want to be with him because of weight, like, probably maybe it makes sense to end it, because that's not fair to him either, to only be with someone that's so contingent. Like, I think if this was reversed and it was a man saying this about a woman's weight, like, all hell would be breaking out. So it's like, it's just not, like, no one wants to be like a charity case that someone is like forced to like. Like, you want to be with someone that loves you for who you are, whether you gain 5 pounds or not.